Now I suppose the next thing we want to do is take care of a little bit of background furniture for her. So as you can see in our reference, there's a table which looks like it's got the tablecloth on it and some plants, so we'll have to make those real quick. I've already made one here, but I'm going to go ahead and delete that and remake it for this. So the first thing I'm going to do is add a cube, and that is going to be our table legs. Make it up like that. Move it off away from the origin here, because what we're going to do is add a mirror modifier. We're going to do that on the X and the Y. And we're going to make it about a square shape. What we'll do is we'll add another cube and also scale that down. Scale it down, make it not very tall. Put that about here. What that'll be is some glass thingers in the corners. Then we'll grab the leg and put it right in the corner of the glass. So there we go. Now what we've got is 4 legs with a little glass shelf in the middle there. Let's highlight that, zoom in so we get a little close, and we're going to put them fairly close together. But before we continue, let's add a bevel modifier on here and make something look kind of nice here. Bevel, there we go. We want that to be about 0.01. Right, 0.05. Okay, that looks about right. Okay, now if we put these close to each other, the mirror modifier will join the geometry together. So let's put the bevel modifier first before the mirror, and that way when we put them close together, they'll join on the bevel, but the bevel will still be visible there. All right, now let's take this, scale it up on the Z-axis, and put it there. Let's see how tall we want this to be. I actually want it to be about waist height for her, but we're going to actually make the legs a little bit lower. About here. Right, so that's a little bit low from our reference. But what we're going to do is put a tablecloth on top of all that. But before we do, let's add some materials. So for this one, we want a brushed metal material. So I've already made one. It's called VC brushed metal. And if I do a rendered view, it's going to be all black. And the reason it's going to be all black is because I haven't added a vertex color to this yet. So let's do some vertex paint, make it kind of a gray. Now it's looking about right. Well, now what does that material look like? Let's go take a look at the shader editor. It's actually a rather simple material. We have the vertex colors going to the base color. We've got metallic turned up a bit. We've got the specular turned up. Well, actually left alone. Roughness is turned down a fair bit. And we've got a set of nodes going into the normal. So texture coordinate UV, mapping vector, coordinate mapping there. Noise texture going into the vector. We want these values, scale 60, detail 2, roughness 0.5, distortion nothing. We're going to send that into a bolt map. The bolt map's going to have a strength of 0.25, and that's going to go into the normal there. And so what that'll do is give us a brushed metal look. We'll solo this item here. That's all well and good, but this part down here, I think I want that to be glass. So I'm going to highlight all this here. I'm going to, on the materials, I'm going to add a slot here. And in that slot, I'm going to put VC glass. And I'm going to assign those to that. So that's now, those are now glass. So what does the glass shader look like? It's pretty simple. Again, the vertex color is going into the base color. We've got the metallic turned all the way down. I turned up the specular. I don't think that's actually necessary. Turned the roughness way down. I turned up the transmission to 0.75 and the transmission roughness to 0.25. Now over here in the material section, you've got to actually do something here. You've got to set the blend and shadow modes, both the alpha hash, and turn on the screen space refraction. If you do all that, then you'll, and also I set the refraction depth to 0.5. If you do all that, you'll get a look like this here. So when we take a look at it in a normal view, you can see there's some glass you can see through, and we've got these table legs here. Alright, so how do we add the tablecloth to the top of this table? I'm going to make my table square, even though on the reference it looks like it's round. Alright, so I'm going to add another plane right here. I'm going to move it up above the table. I'm going to edit it and turn and actually leave it about that large right there. Then I'm going to take the edges and subdivide. I'm going to subdivide it many times. I need lots of subdivisions. Looks like I've got 10 now, but I really want more than that. So I suppose I'll do the same thing again, edge, slope the void, and I'll do like 2 more. Okay, so that should be enough right there. Now what we want to do is go to sculpting, and in sculpting we want to take and do a boundary, and when you do a boundary, it shows you where on the boundary it's going to do its thing and lets you do that. Okay, so let's do, alright, I suppose I want, perhaps I don't want. Yes, I think what I want to do is, before I start doing that, I want to take the edges and put them down. So let's take the 4 corners, hold them down like that, and I suppose what we want is actually the 4 edges. So that edge, this edge, and that edge. Right, okay, that's about what we want there. So what we'll do is we'll get, I suppose we want the fall off not to be smooth, but perhaps linear. Right, we want a linear fall off. Something like that. Let's set this median point there. Right, we want it a bit like that. So, so I suppose that is not right. Linear fall off. Why would that not be correct? Is it inverse square? Well, that'll be good enough, because we actually do want it to have some interesting looks around here. So now what we can do is go back to our sculpting, over on sculpting, right, get out of edit mode, back to here, and now we can start playing with the cloth. Alright, now let's get into this mode here, smooth that out. I feel like what I want to do is have lines going straight up and down here, rather than coming in like that. But I suppose I can just grab the 4 corners and see if it looks alright when I do it. That. Alright, how does that look? Let's go back into the layout here and see if it looks alright. Let's shade that smooth. It's a little bit jagged here. I suppose if I smooth that out like that, it'll reduce the jaggedness. The corners are sticking out in a strange way, so I suppose if I edit that and rotate this, let's go back to smooth fall off. Smooth is easy to understand. Something like that. Yes, I think that will actually work. So let's take like that, put this back here. We'll actually make everything correct in the on the up and down part, well, all at once here. I'll just make this be facing right. Right, let's select the whole bottom edge here. This SZ, which will like make everything the same height. And let's take that bit, bring it in, that bit, bring it out, that bit, bring it in. Alright, so I think we've got now our tablecloth looking a bit right. Well, maybe not right here, that corner looks a little weird. That bit right there looks a little weird. So alright, now we've got it. Let's pull it down a little bit here. Now what we can do is add some wrinkles onto it, again using the sculpting mode. So we'll come back to sculpting, go to the cloth brush, then we can take and move the cloth around. There we go. I'm just trying to add some wrinkles in here and a little bit of interest. Can I add the wrinkles up here? There we go. Alright, now we've got some wrinkles up on here. I suppose I can do something like that to add a little bit more wrinkles. Alright, let's unsolo that. Now what we want to do is give this one its own material. So this material we want to use the same cloth with glitters that we were using before. Alright, that one is looking good, except we don't have any vertex colors, so let's give it the vertex colors. Let's make it the same color grey. Looks like it's kind of a darker grey on that one, so let's make it a bit of a darker grey. There we go. Alright, now I suppose we want to put everything where they belong. This one we want to make the parent of that one, so whenever we move this table around, the tablecloth will go with it. So let's move the table over a little bit and out of the way. Then we'll put both of these, the table and the tablecloth, we'll move those into our world. That way if we shut off our world we won't see the table and tablecloth. We'll call that one table legs on glass. We will name the same thing for the geometry. Then the floor we'll just go ahead and leave as a plane like that. And we'll take under the table legs and glass, there's this is the tablecloth. And underneath that we've got the geometry for it. Alright, so there we go. Now we've got a table that you can put things on and get things back off. I think I might make it a little narrower or something, but I'll do that offline.